The Prince, Episode 1, an original screenplay by Aubrey Asmar, third draft. Act 1, Scene 1, exterior, red and foggy field. We fade into a gore-colored landscape. As the camera flies forward, we pass by decayed bodies that seem to be fresher as we roll to a stop. The camera arrives to see a woman with long black hair. She wipes the sweat off her brow and marches forward, the sound of an army, thousands strong, following behind her. Beggars and lepers gather their young and run as the woman approaches, but to no avail. With one swift gesture of her hand, she seems to levitate them and peel the flesh off their bones. They freeze in place like giant flowers, a skeleton for a pistol and their meat as petals. Cutting the noise of the army's march is a low hum. All noise stops when the woman leading reaches the top of a hill and raises her fist, forcing the army to a halt. She walks ahead of them. POV shot from the woman's perspective. The woman walks among decayed bodies without reaction. What forces her eyes, however, is something shiny hidden in the ground. She bends to see what it is. The woman looms over the object. She removes the dirt off slowly. Her eyes flit and scan the object briefly, and with newfound energy, she digs and cups it in her hand. It's a golden ring with the letter D engraved in it. Shakily, the woman slips it on her finger. She heaves and screams towards the sky, her tears mixing with the ash that dusts her face. Her shriek is horrible, dry, and grieving. Fly out. The camera flies out from the woman and fades in on a rugged man's hands. On his middle finger rests the same ring, only now coated in a thick red blood. He produces a handkerchief from his pocket. Scene 2, execution room, angle on man. Wiping the blood off his hand is a stocky Filipino man, Admiral Carmelo Deloro. In the corner of the concrete room are two white men in suits. In front of Carmelo are 5 Filipino gunmen who stand prostrate. The Admiral looks past the gunmen. Reverse angle. In blindfolds are 3 Filipino youths, no older than the gunmen themselves, and they stand chained against a sanguine-stained wall. A string light illuminates the room and produces harsh shadows on everyone inside. We cut briefly to a view of the room from a dark keyhole. We cut back. Carmelo. Men, you might not be able to tell from the little feeling you have left in you, but countless others have been in this very same room. No one's made it out. So let's make this quick. Who gave you the intel to enter the largest naval base in the Philippine Islands? Was it the Hucks? Just drop a name and you're free to go. Captured man 1, frantically repeating. Hindi ko alam sa gusto mo. Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko alam. Carmelo shakes his head. He lifts up his arm and the gunsmen cock their rifles. Captured man 2. Wait. Beat. Surely, laughing nervously. Surely you're not stupid enough to question these paupers in English, right? Carmelo. I'm a free man's son. I don't speak the language of the enslaved. Why do you? Captured man 2. We speak the language of the people, General Deloro. You are him, right? The man who sold his father's land to America? Beat. Are there some of them in the room with us? Huh? How many of those white pigs did you bring in here? The American men in the corner eye each other cautiously. Carmelo grabs the boy's ear and slices it off with a knife. He screams and the echo bounces off the wet walls. Carmelo, those white pigs are the only reason why you're able to pray to God right now. Now tell the others what I just told you. Captured man 2. Ang tao ang aking Diyos ko. My God is man. Carmelo scowls. He pulls back the hammer on his pistol and shoots the man's brains out. It sprays upwards and rains onto the boys beside him, and they roar into a hideous scream. The string light drips with blood and tints the room red. Carmelo walks away. Carmelo. Sino ang aking boss mo? Hindi na ako magtataong ulit. Who's your boss? I won't be asking again. The boys are too struck with fear. We hear mumbling from the youngest boy on the left. He recites a poem, soft and gentle, like an evening prayer. Captured man 3. Pilipinas kon minabatya. Pugad ng luat ko talita. Aking adika. Makita kang saktal mlaya. Carmelo takes his coat to leave. Carmelo, to the Americans. Come on, gentlemen, it'll get loud. The Americans exit the room through a back door. Before the door swings to a close, the gunsmen fill the boys' bodies with bullets. Carmelo furrows his brow. They enter into a small monitoring room. The three of them leave their coats at a locker and put on outside jackets. These jackets seem fancier, more fitting to the individual. Carmelo, I am so sorry to you both. Usually they're more cooperative than that. American 1, well, I do appreciate you making it easy for us to understand. The camera flies out of the monitoring room and out into the main hallway, where a little girl watches the men through the keyhole. American 2, not to mention that whole gang's stubborn. I mean, you remember the one from a few days ago? He was never gonna budge. American 1, oh yeah, definitely not. The child scurries away from the door. The three exit the room and the Americans salute Carmelo. American 1, well, with that, your tenure within the Philippine Naval Base has concluded. I'll see you at home with the others, Admiral. Carmelo, saluting. Happy to have you, Chief, General. The two Americans exit frame. The child tugs at Carmelo's sleeve. Looking down, Carmelo finds her gnawing on her thumb and clenching a crude drawing of a flower. Carmelo scoops her into his arms, and they begin to walk outside. Carmelo. Why, hi there, my baby. How are you? She grabs for his face, his nose, and then the back of his ears. There's this troubled look on her, as when she brings her hands back, they're a dirty red. Carmelo smiles and brings the handkerchief to wipe her hands clean. They exit the correctional facility and enter onto a Philippine hilly landscape. They walk left, where a woman in a well-tailored dress waits against a car. In the background, rice farmers tend to their terraced fields. Woman, Esther DeLoro. Ugh, what is that smell? You'd better wash before the party tonight. Carmelo, giving the baby to Esther. Take Ariel home with the driver. I'll meet you at home in a while. Esther, a while? How long will that be? Carmelo, as long as it needs. Esther, bouncing the baby, apprehensive. Okay, just make it home on time. Carmelo starts the car and screeches away. Esther's heels scrape against the broken concrete. Scene 3, Philippine countryside. Carmelo takes a long draw on a cigar and rushes his car across a muddy, unmaintained road. Carabaos chew petty grass in the distance while their owners work the field through their sweat. Thick jungle leaves obscure a view of the car. When he emerges from the forest, we see him nearing an overgrown, traditional Filipino house, a bahay na bato. He pulls into the entrance. Walking up the bahay stairs, Carmelo makes a futile effort to look through the weathered windows. It's too hard to parse out clear shapes through the jade vines that smother the outside. With a machete stowed at his side, Carmelo is able to cut through and enter. Once inside, Carmelo looks over the crude semblance of a living room, a kitchen, and a patio. He sighs with an air of nostalgia. We jump cut to a different room, maybe a bedroom. Carmelo pilfers the drawers of a desk inside. Then he seems to find something specific, and he smiles. A long gold glow runs a streak across his face. Scene 4, the party. A maid gets Ariel into a white dress. Ariel, whining. Mommy, it's itchy! Itchy! Esther doesn't pay any mind to Ariel. Instead, she taps her foot impatiently and watches from a window as cars pull into a large driveway. Esther, my goodness, Carmelo, where in the world are you? She storms out of the room and Ariel pulls at the skirt of her dress. Maid, ma'am, please no fighting. Ariel keeps grumbling as she fits her feet into white Mary Janes. Jump cut, the bathroom. Carmelo's sturdy hands turn a faucet and steamy water rushes into the tub. He eases his body into the bath, its clear water becoming colored by a fetid, dark brown. There's a loud knock. Esther, outside the door. Carmelo, are you in there? Carmelo! Carmelo, I am. Esther, try to be quick, guests are arriving. Her heels move away. Carmelo just stares at the brass light bulb above and lets the dirty water reach up to his neck. It's as if he stares straight at us. The main hall's entrance. A line of American and Filipino men and women line up to meet the guest of honor, Ariel. A brown-haired man kneels and removes his hat in order to shake Ariel's hand. She giggles. Man, why hello there, little lady, and what might your name be? Ariel. Ariel. Ariel DeLauro. Man, and where's your daddy? Ariel, Carmelo walks up. Carmelo, right here, General. How are you? The men shake hands. Scene 4, main hall, later, night. Carmelo stands at a podium addressing the crowd of guests. The party is dressed to the nines and the hall reflects that, being lined with hors d'oeuvres, champagne, and cultured meat. The picture of Western high society. Carmelo, before we begin to serve everyone tonight, which I'm sure you're all not happy that I'm delaying, the crowd laughs, I'd like to sincerely thank every single person here. Not only have you all been instrumental in aiding the Philippine people closer to modern democracy, the camera focuses on Ariel, who sinks into her chair. She looks bored out of her mind. Esther, sit up. Ariel barely makes the effort. Carmelo, off screen. But also aiding my family's move to New York. To great men like Official Meyer, you've helped not just me, but a budding family. Which is why on this very special day, I'd like you all to meet the love of my life, my daughter Ariel. The crowd claps as he carries her up to the podium. Carmelo, so everyone, as you eat tonight, I want you to know that your efforts have helped create a better life for someone. For Ariel. Crowd, for Ariel. Carmelo, now who wants to eat? Later. The party cheers as Ariel blows out her candles. She's 2. Carmelo grabs Ariel and cradles her in her arms. They smile for the flash of the screen plate cameras, Official Myers smiling beside them. A small band plays a violin rendition of the Marcha Nacional Filipina. We gather in on a close-up of Ariel on her father's lap. Carmelo, are you enjoying the party, my baby? She doesn't answer. Instead, she just grabs towards his mustache and ears. Her father laughs. Carmelo, Ariel. Ariel, looky here. Ariel, yes, Daddy? His eyes turn tender. Carmelo, I want to give you something very special to me. He digs in his coat pocket and brings out a slender, golden fountain pen. Carmelo continued. I had this pen as a little boy, Ariel. It was very special to me. My daddy gave it to me, and his mother gave it to him, and then her father, so on and so forth. Now it is your time to have it. She clasps it tightly. Carmelo continued, with that, my baby, you can make absolutely anything happen. Ariel, anything? Carmelo, kissing her head. Anything. Scene 5, fade transition, on a private airplane. Ariel holds onto her pen and watches it with revelry. The small turbulence bumps her mother awake. Carmelo listens to military radio through an AN PRC-10. He flashes Ariel a smile. Carmelo, just a little longer, my baby. Later, TWA airport terminal. The plane lands. As the family exits the terminal, they see Official Meyer and a bodyguard waiting at the lobby. Meyer, Mr. and Mrs. Delora, leaning down. Oh, hello there, little Ariel. Do you remember me? Ariel hides behind Carmelo's leg. Meyer, it's okay, I don't bite. Laughing. Back up to Carmelo. There's a driver out front. Another team will come to gather your items. They'll meet you at the residence and unpack everything. Carmelo, you are too kind, Mr. Meyer. Meyer, please just call me Morel. You'll wear out my name soon enough, I assure you. Ad-lib till off screen. In the back of a coach car, brown and green speckles of the North American landscape reflect off the backseat window. Ariel reaches her head above in order to see. She eyes a rocky cliff face in the distance. Hudson Valley. The new house. The taxi pulls into a charming colonial-era style manor. The family begins to approach. Morel. Well, here we are, folks. Esther. Goodness, it's so much grander in person. Ariel runs up the door, and the camera trucks out. Act 2, Scene 6. The scene fades away into a rusty red, like from the intro. The woman with the long black hair stands where the manor's driveway used to be. It's clear from the gold pen she fidgets with that this woman is Ariel, but she looks war-torn, tired, and much older. Ariel walks up a barren hill and opens the door. She passes by torn paintings and shattered vases before stopping at a dinner table. There's an impossible darkness that bleeds from the dining room ceiling and cascades down from what might have once been a chandelier. We see Ariel's fearful expression through a broken mirror. A younger Ariel enters from the room adjacent. The camera whips around to track onto her. Scene 7. The environment fades back into the previous polished interior of Ariel's childhood home. Ariel is maybe in middle school now, and she wears a plaid dress over a white button-up. Ariel pockets a sketchbook and her golden pen into her school bag and heads for the door, the driver and her mother following shortly behind. Esther. I'll be there in the morning to tell your principal about the grade transfers. Also, don't forget to talk to your teachers, Ariel. Trust me, first impressions are everything. Ariel, I know, Mom, I know. Esther, that is mother to you. Never shorten it to Mom, it's improper. Ariel, mother, fine. Just please, let's go. They head out the door and into a car. Jump cut, exterior, school entrance. The car pulls into the parking lot of a private Catholic school. Ariel and her mother exit and approach the door. Esther lags a few feet behind. Ariel turns to her mother. Esther looks as if she's going to maybe hug her daughter, but instead she just closes up her fur coat. Esther, don't make trouble. Ariel nods and enters the school. We watch over Ariel's shoulder as the entrance doors close. Her mother watches, almost chasing after her daughter, but she doesn't. Scene 7, the school. Ariel follows the teacher, an aged nun, in. Teacher, good morning, everyone. The class stands up. Class, sing-songy. Good morning, Mrs. Willards, God bless you. Teacher, well, I see you're all well-behaved. You've got a new student today, everyone. Meet Ariel. Go ahead and write your name on the board, sweetie. Ariel grabs a chalk and neatly writes Ariel DeLoro on the board. Teacher, all right, now if you may, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you like to do, Ariel. Ariel, hello everyone, my name is Ariel DeLoro. This is my family. She opens her sketchbook and presents a quaint drawing of her family. The children peer over each other to see. Ariel, I live west of Mamaroneck, and I'm originally from the Philippines. Several kids gasp, and some murmur under their breath. Ariel, I also like to... Teacher, raising her voice. Class, quiet. Ariel, continue. Ariel, I also like to draw. She smiles disingenuously before curtsying and taking her seat. The murmurs of the other children seem to fill her head, and the only thing that drowns out their noise is the scratch of the pen on her sketchbook paper. Jump cut. Recess. Ariel walks out of the classroom and looks around aimlessly. She heads in the direction of the skipping girls and is led into a courtyard. On a seat, she opens her briefcase and begins to draw in her sketchbook again. Angle on the sketchbook. It seems as if she's been drawing a young boy in princely clothing. He sits proudly on a royal throne and has golden locks that frame a pale European face. It's not a very good drawing. Her sketchbook paper becomes obscured by the shadow of girls chasing after each other. Ariel turns to look at them. The girls stop at a bundle of trees and begin talking amongst each other. Ariel begins to approach. Girl 1. Ariel overhears while approaching. Okay, this tree's gonna be my kingdom. That one's yours, and that one's yours. Mary, you can be the maid. Girl 2. I don't want to be the maid again. I'm always the maid. Let me be king. Ariel. Hi there, girls. The girls turn towards Ariel. They back away and eye her, like she's two-headed. Ariel, nervous. Were you playing royalty? Girl 3, mean, we were. Girl 1, you can join us. Ariel, really? Great! Ariel straightens her back and marches towards a tree. Girl 3 gives Ariel a dirty look. Girl 1, last we played, I was Queen of France, Mary was a maid, and Julia was Queen of Britain. But I suppose Mary wants to be royalty now, so I think she can be ruler of Germany, and you can be the maid, Ariel. Ariel, well, what if we're all royalty? You know, back in the Philippines, my daddy said that he comes from royalty. Girl 3, did not. Ariel, did too. He came from Spanish royalty. That's why we have a Spanish last name. Girl 2, why are you so brown then? Ariel looks down at her tan arms. Ariel, I'm not brown. Girl 2, yes you are, you're all olive. Ariel, olives are green, not brown. Girl 2, olives are yellow-brown. Maybe not the types where you come from, but here, I've seen them, and they look like you. Girl 1. Well, in any case, we need a maid, and I'm not gonna be it. Shifting focus. What's this? Girl 1 picks up Ariel's sketchbook and flips to the newest drawing of a prince. Ariel, mad. Hey! Ariel tries to snatch it from her hands, but the girl dodges. Girl 1, teasing. Ooh, did I find your boyfriend? Girl 3 looks awfully white to ever be her boyfriend. Ariel rips it apart from her hands, and the two's faces flush with rage. Ariel, I am royalty. I am too. And I don't need to deal with peasant people like you in order to prove it. Girl 1, oh yeah? Well, I'm American, and I've got nothing to do with your country anyways. Ariel, oh yeah? Nothing to do except sending all your troops over to the Philippines, right? The three girls look puzzled. Ariel, sending over people to fight the commies? Hello? Guess someone doesn't know their own history. Girl 2, America never sent people to the Philippines, no less Asia. Maybe during the Great Wars to deal with the Japanese, but that was ages ago. Ariel, what? There are Americans there now. Girl 3, you're a bad liar, Ariel. Ariel furrows her brow. She doesn't even look angry anymore, just taken aback and confused. Ariel, but there are Americans in the Philippines. And like a flash of lightning, the image of the 3 dead boys in an execution room appears in Ariel's mind. Ariel, whispering now, there are Americans. Ariel wears a grave expression while the girls walk farther away from her. Jump cut. She wears that same grave expression during her car ride home. Scene 8. Back home. Ariel and Esther enter the front door. At the dining room table is Carmelo with the official, as well as several others. Carmelo, Ariel, how's my baby's first day of school? Ariel takes her father's mano and presses it on her forehead. Ariel, it was fine. Carmelo, fine, not great? The party laughs. Ariel, well, they told me that America didn't help us against the communists, but that's not true. I tried to tell them that America helped us a lot, but they said that I was lying. Carmelo's smile weakens. Carmelo, well, baby, that's because it's recent news. Plus, care packages aren't the most headline-worthy topic. It's only been a few years. It's not like news picks up everything. Ariel, but it should, Daddy. You helped do so much. She hugs her father. Carmelo, oh, I know, baby, I know. As she rests her head on his chest, she locks eyes with one of the men sitting across the table. Ariel, and you helped too. We look back to see a familiar face, one of the leaders in the execution room with Carmelo. Chief, laughing. Sorry, kid, I don't know what to tell you. I was over spending the holiday in Colorado. My wife's got baby fat to prove it. We cut back to Ariel. She looks confused. When we cut again to the chief, he's wearing the same blood-splattered coat from the execution. Ariel is roughly grabbed by the shoulder by her father. Carmelo, Ariel, come with me. Scene 9. Ariel's room. Ariel is pushed into her room. The door closes behind her and her father locks the door. She jiggles the lock. Ariel, Dad, Father, what are you doing? Carmelo, quiet. Softer tone. This is just for tonight, honey, just while the guests are here. We're going to be discussing important matters, and we can't be having little kids like you here. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Ariel, but Carmelo, you just do your homework, okay? And if you ever need any food, you can press the ringer in your room and a maid will come up. There's a pause. Ariel sobs from behind the door. Ariel, I'm sorry, Daddy. I'll never talk about what I said ever again. Carmelo doesn't smile, yet he talks in such a gentle tone it's impossible to think he's not. Carmelo, oh honey, you're not in trouble for that. You're not in trouble at all. Now I mean it, young lady. Do your homework, all right? Ariel, between sniffles. All right. Carmelo, good. I'll see you later. I love you. He descends the stairs. Inside her room, Ariel wipes her tears away. She opens her purse to begin her homework. But soon, afternoon turns to evening, evening to night, and then midnight strikes. She rings the servant's bell. After a small pause, she rings again, then again. And from below we can hear the chatter of silverware and scattered voices. Every so often, there's this dull and almost inaudible ding. The hammer of the servant's bell has been tied with a handkerchief, muting its ring entirely. From a room over, Carmelo, the general, and the chief sit across 3 chairs in a study. The air is thick with cigarette smoke. General, do you think the public knows? Beat. Carmelo, if they did, there'd be a lot more noise. This was just some misguided talk amongst kids. Chief, yes, well, kids talk and their parents listen, Loro. Carmelo, and what? They'll hear some rumor amongst school children. Do you really think the public's stupid enough to believe everything they hear? Chief, I think we can't take any chances, Mr. DeLoro, and you let something slip. Carmelo, she was barely 2 years old when she could have ever seen anything. She only stayed in the intermediary hallway. The men start to talk over each other. Fade in. Ariel doesn't have the strength to bring herself to her feet, so she lays fetal on the floor. She holds her stomach and itches at her throat. She rings one last time, but like all attempts prior, there's nothing. Ariel weakly grabs for her pen, and in the margins of her sketchbook she draws a cake slice. Magically, the drawing glows blue. It lifts up from out the ink and turns into a ghostly facsimile of a cake. Ariel chuckles. She grabs a bit with her hand and swallows it. She draws a piece of dried meat. Like the cake, it lifts up. She alternates between the 2 pieces of food and laughs dryly, one pathetic tear falling down her face. She stops. Then, fueled with anger, she manages to hover above her sketchbook. She scans the other page in the sketchbook and sees the rudimentary drawing of her family. They lift off the page and move back and forth like paper puppets. Ariel crawls towards the living drawing of her mother. She picks it up by the collar and hangs it in the air. The drawing makes high-pitched cries and grabs its neck. Ariel fumbles around and grabs the living drawing of her father. She places the 2 back to back, and they squirm like worms between her fingers. Beginning from the top, Ariel grabs the animated drawings and tears it in 2. There's this harsh sound of paper ripping and squeaking as Ariel runs the tear to the other end of their bodies. Ariel now stares at the 2 pieces in her hands, and like a chicken without its head, it squirms senselessly. Not satisfied, Ariel rips them limb from limb. They wriggle like excited tentacles. She takes them and smashes them against the hard book of her sketchbook, and they crumble. And she smashes again and again till they resemble nothing more than dust bunnies. Ariel screams and pulls at the hair that covers her face before laying down on the floor. Slowly but surely, her cries die down to small hiccups, and she closes her eyes to rest. The next day, Ariel's mother grabs her and forces her to her feet. Esther, get up. You are going to school right now. Jump cut to the car. Ariel's got a soulless expression over her eyes. Esther, trust me, you're lucky your father reacted the way he did. It could have been much worse. Next time, don't go airing out your family's dirty laundry to whoever wants to hear. Beat, are you even listening, Ariel? Ariel, you absolute idiot! Jump cut. Ariel sits at her desk. She seldom hears the lesson being taught and just stares at the drawing of her family, now torn to bits and nearly unrecognizable. Quick transition. Ariel is driven back home. She's getting paler. Scene 10. At home again. Ariel enters through the front door to see that new guests have populated the dining room. Carmelo rises from his seat. Carmelo, why hello there, Ariel. Ready to do your homework? Ariel, you're going to have guests over today too? Carmelo, yes, honey. There's still so much to discuss after yesterday. Jump cut. Carmelo locks Ariel into her room. She presses up against the door. Ariel, Father, please, I'm so hungry. I only got to eat what was packed for lunch today, and it wasn't enough. Carmelo, then why didn't you ring the bell last night? Ariel, I did 1,000 times, but no one came. Please, I promise I'll be better. I won't even open my mouth. There's no response from the other side. Ariel, Dad? Dad, please, Dad. She's still exhausted. She has no fight left within her. From below, Carmela removes the handkerchief from the bell. Still, Ariel doesn't ring for a servant. She just clutches her stomach and watches the floor. Time passes through till sunset. Ariel has hardly moved. A gold ray of light falls over Ariel's eyes from the window in front of her. She squints and turns her body away. Reverse angle. Ariel closes her eyes, maybe in an attempt to sleep. Then, a childlike figure obscures the rays coming in from the window. Ariel notices the change in light and goes to see who it is. Ariel. Who? Angle on the boy. A boy, Ariel's age, stands smiling in front of the window. He's dressed like a prince and has golden curly locks. Ariel looks over at her sketchbook. There's no denying it. This boy is the prince she's been drawing. Prince, you're not dreaming if that's what you're wondering, laughs lightly. Ariel, weak. You're real. Ariel uses all her effort to get onto her feet. She goes to hug the prince, but he disappears into a bit of loose dust that catches the sunlight. The prince enters the frame from a different part of the room. Prince, oh, not that real. I mean, you haven't even drawn a back for me, remember? How do you expect to hug me? He turns around and shows his back, which is a completely blank silhouette. Ariel whimpers softly and runs her hands around her thin arms. Ariel, I'm really, really hungry. I can't even have food. Prince, hey, Ariel, don't cry. Looking around, we can get you food. Ariel, you can? Prince, sure we can. We just have to go out and get it. The prince begins to slide the window open. It forces itself up, and in an instant, he jumps out. Ariel gasps and rushes to see where he's landed. The prince is already at ground level and surrounded by red roses. Prince, come on, Ariel, you can do it. Ariel's breathing is uncontrollable. She paces back and forth, looking at the door and then back at the prince. The hunger pangs in her deepest recesses of her stomach. She clutches her chest and places one foot onto the awning roof. Safe. Then she places another foot, not seeing the dark lichen beneath her. She slips, barely saving herself by grabbing onto the bottom of the windowsill. Wincing now and trying not to let the blood from her scraped legs get onto the shingles, Ariel makes it to a grape trellis. Ariel climbs her way down and only barely avoids the view of the guests on the floor level. But sure enough, she's down safely and into the prince's arms. Prince, oh, I knew you could do it. Ariel, laughing, I didn't. Prince, now come on, before anyone sees us. The prince enters into the forest surrounding the manor. Ariel, wait! Scene 11, Forest. Ariel chases the prince across the forest floor. He seems to float gracefully across the mess of fallen trees and vegetation. Ariel, what if my dad catches me? Prince, we'll be home way before then. Ariel, struggling to keep pace. I haven't even gotten your name. Prince, slowing down. I don't have one. Ariel, what? Prince, I don't have one. You never named me. The two of them jump over a creek. Nearby is a felled oak tree with canterelles sprouting around it. Prince, which, if I may add, even God had the decency to name his creation. You've left me feeling a little bit left out. Ariel, I'm sorry. A name never came up. I guess I'm not as good as God. Prince, well, sure you are. You created life from me, and the same blood that flows through your veins flows through mine. God blood. They passed through a neglected iron gate. Ariel continued, well, you were always supposed to be from the Midas mythos, about a man who turns whatever he touches into gold. Prince, well, then I'm Midas. I'm Prince Midas. Ariel, well, yes, but I never actually imagined you as literally Midas. I mean, you don't have his powers. Prince, well, then I'm his great relative. I inherited his kingdom. Ariel, okay, then what's your name? Your first name? The prince poses in the sunlight. Prince, up to you, my goddess. A name worthy of a king. Ariel chuckles. The two begin to make it out of the forest and onto a paved road. Ariel stops the prince. They both see a small corner store. Jump cut. Onto the forest floor, Ariel drops down a dried sausage, mineral water, a bread roll, and candy. The yellow light from the sun ripens to orange. Ariel takes graceful bites from the food in front of her, The prince goes to open the candy, but rips it too fast. He catches the candy with his hands and fills his mouth with them. Ariel, well, you mentioned god blood, and I think there's something to that. They chew and think about it. Prince, do tell. Ariel grabs a leaf and raises it up like a wine glass. Ariel, Grecian gods drank ambrosia. Then their blood flowed with it, turning gold. They called it ichor. The prince picks up an actual wine glass from off-screen. He sips it. Prince, ichor Midas. The two look at a bubbling creek nearby. It absorbs the orange rays of the sunset and appears like a stream of gold. Ariel, smiling. I'll call you Ichor Midas. They sit closer together. Their fingers meet. With possessiveness, Ariel grabs for his hand. They interlock. Ariel looks soulfully at the lush forest in front of her. We cut to a different angle where the camera reveals the reality of the scene. Ariel has been holding a set of dead branches from an uprooted tree. She rests her head against the log. There's a haze over her eyes, like the light inside herself has dimmed. Her eyes start to turn red, and she stifles a cry from her quivering lips. Ariel hears the twig snap. She looks to see what may have made the noise, but there's no one there. Ariel begins running and doesn't look back. The blood on her shins streak across her legs and catch on the stray forest ivy. A heavier set of footsteps close in and grab Ariel by the hair. She screams, and the camera reveals that it's her mother. Esther, there you are, you horrible girl. Ariel cries and fights to escape her arms, but all actions are futile. Ariel, let go of me! Ichor, save me! Esther, your father has been yelling at me all night because you're not in your room. Do you know how much time I've wasted just looking for you? Do you? Beat, your father will deal with you. Ariel screams and tries to run away, but she's too small. Still in trying to escape, she creates divots in the ground and manages to make a few inches of distance. Ariel, no, not Dad, please! Scene 12. Esther leads Ariel through the door. Esther, calling, Carmelo, she's here! Ariel, no! Carmelo, be quiet. Ariel becomes still. He stands at the dinner table, a bottle of medicinal alcohol and a rag beside him. He looks down at Ariel's legs, dirty, bloody, and rash-covered. He makes a dismissive gesture with his hand. Esther loosens her grip. Carmelo continued, Sit here, Ariel. Ariel shuffles over, her hands clasped tightly. She sits and sniffles. Carmelo sits in front of her. Carmelo continued, We saw the blood on the roof. Give me your leg. She lifts her foot up and rests it on his knee, revealing the long gashes that run from her knees down to her ankles. Carmelo douses the rag in alcohol and then dabs away the blood. Ariel begins to hyperventilate. Carmelo continued, Stop moving. Ariel tries her best. Carmelo continued, Now, Ariel, you're not in trouble, okay? Ariel, I'm not? Carmelo, of course not, honey. I just want you to answer one question for me and then you can go. All right? All right, Ariel? She nods. Carmelo continued. 2 days ago, you told the guests who were visiting that you saw the Americans helping fight the communists in the Philippines. You identified me and one other man. Tell me now, who did you see dealing with the communists back in the Philippines? Ariel, after a moment. It was you, the man from last night, and another man. Carmelo, not quite. Carmelo presses the rag over the wound. Ariel cries. Carmelo to a maid. Hold her. A maid restrains Ariel by the shoulders. Carmelo, tell me again, who did you see back in the Philippines? Ariel, you and 2 other men. Carmelo grabs the bottle of alcohol and splashes it all over the wounds. It mixes with the blood and fizzles pink suds all over Ariel's exposed dermis layer. Ariel screams at the top of her lungs. Esther watches in horror from afar. Carmelo, you're letting your memory get the better of you, Ariel. No one was there that morning. Ariel, but... Carmelo douses her leg in more alcohol. Esther, Carmelo, this is too much. He gives Esther an icy glare before focusing on Ariel again. Carmela, who was there that morning, Ariel? You're not leaving until you say who. Ariel, exhausted. No one was there. Carmela, there you go. Now one more time. Ariel, no one was there. Carmelo, good. Again. The memory of the man's head getting shot flashes noiselessly. Ariel, no one. I saw you shoot that boy. I know you shot him. I saw you. Carmelo slaps Ariel with such force she falls out of the chair. Esther runs over. Esther, Carmelo, stop! Ariel's nails scratch against the ground as she makes for an escape. Carmelo lunges to grab her, but Esther uses all of her strength to hold him back. Ariel grabs the front door's doorknob, but it's locked. She then runs up the stairs and into her room. She slams the door shut. Carmelo, to Esther, you pathetic bitch. He begins to approach Esther, and she backs away slowly until she's cornered. Scene 13, Ariel's room. Ariel covers her ears as the muffled sound of Esther's screams bleed through the walls. She hyperventilates again and squeezes her eyes tight. A hand touches her shoulder, and the camera reveals Iker, glowing a faint yellow like an angel. Ariel, you, turning towards him, you did this! She rises out of bed and pushes him to the wall. Ariel continued, you're the one that made me leave my room. You're the one that didn't bring me home on time. It was you. Because of you, my mommy and I got hurt. You! She cries and pounds her head on his chest before sinking into an embrace. Ariel, weeping, it was you. It was your fault. Iker soothes Ariel and runs his hands through her hair. Iker, it was my fault, and I'm so sorry, Ariel. How about I make it up to you? Ariel, how? Iker opens the window and hops halfway through. He extends out his hand. Iker, follow me. Ariel, quiet but stern, no! I'm not leaving the house. Did you see what just happened? Iker, but we won't be leaving. We're going up, not out. Iker exits the window and floats. The only thing tethering him is his left hand clinging onto the windowsill. Iker, smiling, now come on. Ariel wipes her tears and grabs his hand. She begins to levitate. Through childlike giggling, Iker pulls Ariel through. The camera cuts to a different angle, outside, where we see Ariel open the window with her own hands. She smiles blankly, and the same haze that overtook her before shows up again. She crawls through the windowsill and begins to climb on the awning again. A shingle falls to the ground, but Ariel pays no notice. Instead, she starts to approach a ladder leading up to the top of the manor roof. We cut back to the illusion, where the two rise up towards the moon. Iker claps, and courtly music begins to play. Iker, oh, we can't forget. Iker twirls his fingers, and like Cinderella, Ariel's dirty uniform transforms into a Victorian-era ball gown. Ariel twirls in delight. Iker, bowing, may I have this dance, my princess? Ariel, curtsying, why, yes you may, my prince. The two begin to waltz. They scale higher and higher into the sky. From outside the illusion, the music continues to play. Ariel climbs ladder after ladder and reaches to the top where a weather vane is. The wind begins to rise. Cut to illusion. Iker and Ariel spin dizzily together, yet manage to perform a highly coordinated ballroom dance. Ariel stretches her arms and smiles, letting the starlight radiate her face. Cut to reality. Ariel stands at the edge of the roof, her arms stretched wide. She's not smiling anymore. We cut back and forth. Illusion Ariel begins to fall backwards, and real Ariel seems to as well, only that she's holding onto the weather vane. Ariel slowly lets each finger slip off the weather vane. Ariel completes the fall and is caught by Iker. She floats down, phasing through the manor floors, and falls back into bed. The dress melts away and turns back into the uniform, and her eyes turn dull. She closes her eyes and falls asleep. It seems as if everything is back to normal, but the window is still open, and the fallen shingle is still missing. Scene 14. The next day, Carmelo stands at his desk with a phone up to his ear. From the view of the study's open door, we can see Ariel's mom sweeping up the shards of a broken vase. Her face looks red and puffy. Someone picks up at the other end of the line. Carmelo. Admiral Deloro, Papa Unit, calling due to summoning by the CNO. Man on line. Hello there, Admiral Deloro. At ease. You may want to take a seat. This is going to take a bit. Carmelo eases into a chair. Carmelo. What's the situation? Man on line. Listen, Carmelo, there's no real easy way to ask this. When's the earliest you can get to Bataan? Carmelo looks taken aback. Man on line. It's a secure line, Carm. Carmelo. That bad, huh? Man on line, sighing. I can't even begin to tell you. Jump cut, later. Maids rush to load up Carmelo's car with suitcases. Ariel and Esther watch from the doorway. Esther. How long will it be? Carmelo. You're saying 2 months, but I can't be sure. Esther nods her head. Carmelo. I've got to go now. Bye there, Ariel. I love you. Ariel looks at him, a bruise from where he hit her yesterday still on her cheek. Carmelo. Come on, Ariel. I'm not leaving until you give me a kiss and tell me it back. Carmelo presents his cheek to Ariel's face. Ariel stares back at him with so much pain and hatred in her eyes. Carmelo. Ariel? It's okay that you're still mad at me. I understand. But baby, you need to know that what I did last night, I did for the good of you. The good of our family. There are some very, very bad things happening in the world right now, honey. And if we talk about the wrong things to the wrong people, it could get us in very big trouble. Okay, Ariel? Ariel refuses to look her father in the eye. Carmelo brings Ariel into a tight embrace. Her hands begin to tremble, and she cries. Carmelo, come here, baby. Ariel, after a bit. I love you. Carmelo, I love you too. Not so hard now, right? You take care, eat well, and don't forget to call me. I'll always be there. He enters the car and pulls out of the driveway, an eager smile on his face as he waves his family goodbye. As the car moves away, Carmelo's smile drops into a blank look. Cutting back, Esther clenches her fist and shuts her coat tightly. Esther, piece of shit. They walk back inside. Ariel's face shifts from her grave expression into that of concentration. She hops up the stairs and into her bedroom. Scene 15, montage. Ariel opens up her sketchpad and props it in front of her. She fidgets with the golden pen and critically scans her previous drawing of Iker. On a new page, she makes swift motions with her pen. After a short while, she reveals a new drawing of Iker, and she doesn't look very impressed. She turns to another page. Time flies by, and soon she's producing sketch after sketch. She runs through paper, then boards, then canvases. With every passing drawing, Ariel gets a little taller. We see a view of Ariel's room from the driveway. She toils night and day on her work, and still only one car stays in the driveway. We cut to Ariel drawing at school. She looks about 12 now. When we see what she's made, the drawing looks simple yet refined. Ariel smiles, proud. Cut back to Ariel's room. She pins all of the drawings above her bed. Iker enters the frame too, much taller than Ariel now. He rests a hand on her shoulder. Act 3, jump cut, further in time. It's a sunny day in early autumn. The camera focuses on tastefully maintained brick buildings within a women's college campus. We zoom into a particular building that looks like an administrative office. When we cut to the inside, we see Ariel sitting politely across an older woman at a chestnut desk. A manila envelope spreads out pages of a cover letter, a transcript, and several recommendations. Ariel is wearing a business formal dress. Dean, older woman. You've got a very impressive application here, Mrs. Deloro. Ariel, smiling. Why, thank you, Mrs. Anna. Dean. I see here you've participated in the fine arts, academics, and also a bit of sports, yes? Ariel, yes ma'am. I graduated top of my class and also spent a few of my summers at art apprenticeships within Manhattan. I've studied piano and a bit of English ballroom dance. In my second year, I spent a few months in my school's clay pigeon shooting club. Dean, impressed. Huh. And you're entering here with the intention to be a fine arts major? Ariel, oh, no, sorry, ma'am. I actually applied as a nursing major? Dean, looking over her notes. Oh, yes, the letter that came in later. Ariel, nervous. I'm deeply sorry for turning it in afterwards. Dean, it's no matter. Beat. Speaking of letters, we were able to get your father's recommendation. Ariel, you were? That's very good to hear. The dean clasps her hand on the desk and gives Ariel a placid smile. Dean, Ariel, for someone with such a stellar resume, it alarms me to see that you've been rejected not once, but twice across 2 separate other 7 sister colleges in the past 2 years. Do you possibly have any explanation as to why that is? Ariel fights to maintain her smile. Ariel, well, Mrs. Anna, I believe it was simply a conflict of interest. I cannot deny that my heritage influences people's opinion about me. Dean, meaning your father? This seems to strike a chord within Ariel, but she doesn't stir. Ariel, yes, my father. But let me assure you, Miss Anna, I may share my father's last name, but I am simply his daughter, nothing more. Dean, then, Ariel, do you understand that especially here, in what we aim to be a progressive, liberal, academic environment, that you will likely encounter many people that know your father's reputation? Ariel, I do understand. Dean, and if a young woman approaches you and tells you all about your father's actions in the Orient, tells you that he's a murderer, that he's using the U.S. as a puppet, what would be your reaction? Ariel breathes in deeply, still smiling. Ariel, I would say I wholeheartedly agree. The dean unfurls her brow and looks with intrigue. Dean, go on. Ariel, Mrs. Anna, my father and mother would not approve of me saying this, but I must. If there's anyone who can provide an accurate critique on my father's actions within Asia, it would be me. I know the terrible things he's done in the name of democracy. I am ready to speak up. So, will you allow this college to do me the great kindness of protecting me? The dean smiles and shakes her hand. Dean, Ariel, there's a clay pigeon shooting range only a bit away from this office. Just take 2 lefts from the door, and soon you'll be there. You can't miss it. I'll inform the staff that you have whole day access to it. Ariel, thank you. Dean, welcome to Vassar College, Miss Deloro. Ariel exits the room and passes by countless other girls waiting to be interviewed. Dean on the intercom. Mrs. Walker, please make your way into the office. Mr. Peters, please unlock the shooting range's gate. Thank you. Jump cut. A clay pigeon shatters mid-air. From below, Ariel loads in a slug and takes aim again. The trap releases another target. She shoots again and again. Her eyes look manic. The last shot sinks with the ignition of Ariel's car. She speeds off into the Poughkeepsie forest. When she's far enough away, she hits her hand against the dashboard and lets out a thick and frustrated scream. Her tears streak across her face from the wind. Scene 16. Later, the Laura residence, night. Ariel parks in the driveway. Despite the other cars' absence, its spot seems well maintained. She enters into the lounge room, the surroundings messy and far too depressed to even look lived in. Ariel's mom rests on the couch lazily, her eyes half open and the TV playing the news. There's a bottle of rum and dying cigarettes in front of her. Ariel goes to turn the TV off. Ariel, mean, what the hell are you watching this? Esther hardly responds. Ariel places a finger on the off switch, but stops to watch the broadcast. Reporter. Hundreds have lined up across 50th all the way to 14th Street in protest of the military parade for the soldiers who have been deployed overseas. We have one citizen here to tell us a little bit more about that. The camera passes to a youthful black woman. Reporter. What's the general feeling amongst people regarding this parade? Woman. Well, we think it's a flagrant misuse of funds. There are soldiers in Southeast Asia right now that haven't been provided updated equipment, hardly have first aid, and also don't even know what they're fighting for. Reporter. They do know what they're fighting for. The Viet Cong has been encroaching on U.S. military bases and have recently begun taking American lives. Woman. Oh yeah, and who told you that? The people that we can understand, right? The English-speaking people in power. How about the people in Argentina? Their reports about U.S. involvement. The kidnappings, where's their voice? What about East Timor or Indonesia in general? Ariel, beneath her breath, fucking un-American. Ariel switches the frequency and the screen is overtaken with loud static. As Esther snores, Ariel floats her head around her and checks if she's fully asleep. Ariel fills the whiskey glass and slips it into her hands. She sneaks up the stairs and enters her room. Weary, Ariel sits on her desk and stares at a drawing of Iker. She takes a quick sip of her drink and scrunches her face. As it runs down to her gullet, she kicks her feet in protest. Through phlegmy, wet gasps of air, Ariel looks at the drawing again. Then she drinks another sip, but it doesn't go down any easier. But with every step towards drunkenness that she takes, splotches of watercolor paint illuminate a new background. Eventually, she is transported into a brightly lit 18th century European bar. Her clothes are all the same, and the glass of rum hasn't changed. Ariel has entered into an illusion. Iker saunters over to her. Iker, oh, if it isn't my sweet baby, hugging her. How'd the interview go? Ariel, head in her hands. Fine enough. Ariel sits at the bar. She takes another swig. Iker, why? Did something go wrong? Ariel, the interviewer was being rude. She kept on asking me about my father and tried to get me to say all the shit yippies say on TV. Iker, and did you break? Ariel, well, I mean, I gave her what she wanted, and I'm accepted now, so there's that. Ariel takes a sip of her drink and shudders. She moves her tongue around in her mouth. Ariel, I can guarantee that I know so much more about what's happening in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in the Philippines than any average idiot in Manhattan. It's not what those rat-infested deadbeats make it out to be. I'd kill to be able to show them what's been going on, to go on the front lines. Iker, like as a soldier? Ariel, yes, exactly. I can shoot. I know I can shoot, but the whack won't let me. I'd just be a typist or a secretary if I joined them. The best I'd be doing is sewing uniforms. Iker, you might be able to sneak in as a soldier. To have your hair flat on your chest, they'll take anyone nowadays. Ariel, I'm not a transvestite, Ike. She glares at him and he seems to drop the topic. Iker, beat. You can be a nurse. I know they're taking in a lot of Filipinos. Ariel, a Filipino nurse, 1 in a million, right? Iker, but your dad's currently in the Philippines, huh? He looks up towards the ceiling, pondering. Ariel, yeah, he is. They pause. Iker, you're such a daddy's girl. Ariel flushed, what? Don't call me that, you're weird. Iker teasing. Daddy's girl. How in the world can you sneak off to the Philippines if your mommy won't even let you drink? Ariel, approaching him. I'm drinking right now, aren't I? She grabs his face and they lock into a weird, sloppy kiss. The background morphs into a red, velvety bedroom and the two fall into bed. In an unnatural, Hollywood-like way, Ariel is able to unbutton Iker's shirt effortlessly. But, just as Iker reaches his hand into her pants, Ariel retches. We cut to reality. Ariel is on her bed, hunched over a pillow, and her hand in her pants. She does her best to enter the illusion again, to see Iker and continue making out. Still, she can't stop retching. She makes one last attempt to get herself going again. This time, the telephone downstairs rings. Scene 17. Ariel rushes downstairs and in her plight hits her hip bone on the edge of the stair rail. She winces in pain, but hardly lets it stop her from getting to the telephone. Ariel picks up. Ariel. Good evening, this is the Deloro residence. Ariel Deloro speaking. Who might be calling? Carmelo. Hi there, honey, it's me. Ariel. Dad. Carmelo. Hi, Ariel. Sorry your phone call got cut short last time. Ariel. It's okay, Dad, don't worry. How's it been? Have you been staying safe? Carmelo. Don't worry about me, honey. How'd the interview go? Ariel. I got accepted. Carmelo. You did? I'm so happy for you, my baby. I knew you could do it. Pause. I wish I could be there right now to give you a big hug. Ariel. I wish so too. Carmelo. How's your mother been? Ariel looks back at the dirty lounge table. Ariel. She's fine. Same old, same old. We cut to Carmelo. He's sitting in a day-lit office. A young woman hugs the door and motions her hand for his attention. Carmelo signals for her to leave. Carmelo, quietly into the receiver. Oh, speaking of which, baby, is your favorite color still pink? Ariel, more like red, if anything. Wait, why? Carmelo, no reason, honey. Ariel, Dad, why? Carmelo, I'm telling you, honey, no reason. Will you be home all day tomorrow? Ariel, yes, I will. Carmelo, good, don't let that change. Carmelo is drawn away by the woman. Carmelo, okay, sweetie, I gotta go, right? Ariel, okay, I love you. There's just a dial tone at the other end. Back to Carmelo, we see him approach the woman standing outside of the office. Ariel clutches her chest as she lets go of the phone. The next day, Ariel rushes to clean the house. Later, she gets ready and puts on a white dress with pearl jewelry. Ariel goes out to the front porch and sits on a bench. She taps her foot impatiently. Morning turns to evening, but no sign of anyone coming. Her mother slinks out the door and smokes a crumpled cigarette. Esther, are you waiting out here? Ariel, why do you care? Esther, what, you got a gentleman caller? Ariel ignores her. Esther, your father isn't coming home today. Ariel, surprised. How did you know that? Esther, it's not like I got a confirmation. I just heard you calling yesterday. You're quite loud. Beat, and just so you know, this isn't the first time he's fluked. Ariel, standing. You don't know that, Esther. Ariel, why can't you accept that I've known your father for far longer than you've known him? Ariel, because at least I still believe in the best of him. I still care about him, do you? Esther doesn't respond. She just taps her ashes onto the polished wood floor. Esther turns to leave. Ariel, what if I disappeared tomorrow and went to go see Dad myself? Esther, and how would you do that? You just bum off our money. What, are you planning to just steal the money for a transatlantic flight without us knowing? Ariel, if I join the army and go over, I won't even have to pay, and I'll still see him. Esther freezes and almost even stops breathing. Esther, I will never let you join the army. Ariel, Mom, American boys are dying, and Dad's helping them. Esther, stop. Ariel, I can help them too, even if that's far beyond your understanding. Esther, Ariel, the Americans aren't even supposed to be there. Beat. And if you go into the Philippines expecting to help people, you're only going to get hurt. Ariel, stop talking like that. Esther, you're going to find out that the Americans have been a parasitic blight on the country, and once you turn on the Americans, they'll hurt you. They'll chain you up and cut out your tongue so that you won't scream as they pillage your body. Ariel, you dirty fucking traitor. Esther, I've seen it happen. Ariel storms inside, but Esther grabs her hand. Esther is beginning to break into tears. Esther, and I'm not going to let that happen to my daughter. Ariel shakes off her hand. Ariel goes into her room and starts to stuff a bag with items. Her keys, a wallet, a sketchbook, her golden pen, her ID, and passport. She slips out of her dress and enters into a button-up. Ariel passes through her father's office and grabs a contact book. Ariel exits the door. Esther rocks back and forth on a dining room chair. Esther, repeating, my daughter, my only daughter. Ariel seems to flash the littlest sign of regret before storming out of the door. She begins to drive away. Just as she looks behind a reverse, Esther emerges from the door with a knife in hand. She plunges it into the windshield, forming a web of cracks. Ariel pulls away, pushing through the metal gates of the manor. Esther screams. Ariel travels through a dark, wooded highway. It isn't long before Ariel finds a payphone at a nearby bus stop. Ariel loads it up with nickels and feathers through the contact book pages. She begins inputting 7 digits. The line picks up. Ariel, chipper. Hi there, Mr. Meyer. Morel, tired. Hi there. Sorry, who is this? Ariel, right. This is Ariel from the Deloro household? Morel, oh, Ariel. It's been such a long time. How's Mom and Dad? Ariel, they're great. Say, I know it's really short notice, but do you know if any Philippine nurse ships are docking at the Hudson or even Mamaroneck Harbor? Pause. I'm thinking of maybe following in my father's footsteps. The camera pulls out, with Ariel's ruined car in the foreground. In the furthest obscurity of the forest, a deer watches Ariel intently, with icy, fog-hazed eyes. The end.